Good afternoon, guys. Dark Purple Shadow here. How are we doing? And today I'm talking about the dark secrets that they don't want you to know about Black Friday.
Black Friday Bandudu.
Now, what is Black Friday? A little history lesson. Black Friday is an American phenomenon that occurred because people wanted to sell you things you don't need, and you need to buy those things with money you don't have. So the credit card companies are happy with Black Friday, and so are the manufacturers of all these products that you genuinely should not be buying. Now, I might sound like a commie right now, and let me tell you something, I'm not. I genuinely believe money makes the world go round, and I love spending money, but I don't like wasting money. And what Black Friday does is it creates this culture of get a good deal, but in reality, it never lives up to the hype. The reality of these discounts is about 2 months before Black Friday, they will artificially increase the prices, and then on the 27th of November or whenever the hell Black Friday is, they'll start slashing them, and you'll feel like you got a great deal. You're a very smart person. You've got a RTX 4070 Super for about £100 less than you should have paid for it on paper because it's gone down £100. The reality is they upped the price by about £150 the month before. So actually, you've overpaid by about £50. And the sort of people Black Friday really latches onto are the sort of people who don't really do their research. They're the sort of people who look at a big flashy yellow sticker and just buy a product. And a lot of times, people don't really have the money to buy these products, but they feel like if they don't buy it right now, it's the end of the world. And that's another thing I really dislike, this FOMO feeling you get from Black Friday. One day only event. Buy it today or forever hold your silence. The truth is, this breeds a culture of people buying things that they honestly shouldn't, with money that they don't have. There's things such as Klarna, and in the UK we have Monzo Flex, which I use as well occasionally. But some people pay for their GPUs and their monitors on installments using credit, which isn't a problem if you manage your money well. But the truth is, a lot of people end up paying 10% or more interest on random things that they don't need. That RTX 5070 or 4070 that you buy, that is £100 off. If you end up getting a 20% loan on it, ends up costing you more than you actually would have paid in the first place if you bought it for cash at a later date. So honestly, people need to have their head screwed on when it comes to Black Friday. Unfortunately, when it comes to companies, you have to treat them like predators, and you are the prey. And Black Friday is like the main hunting day in the African savannah that is the marketplace of the internet. People left, right and center are getting scammed by companies because they don't look at the fine print. There are a lot of tools on the internet which tell you the price history of certain products. Unfortunately, people who buy things on Black Friday on a whim, on a vibe, they're not the sort of people who are going to go back and check these price history trackers. Another thing I really dislike about Black Friday is it's usually used to push products nobody else is buying. For example, the current batch of Intel CPUs. I'm telling you, there will be a lot of Intel CPUs on Black Friday discounts because honestly, people are staying away. The only people buying Intel CPUs are the people who are fanboys and the people who don't know better. That's still a lot of people. I'm pretty sure Intel's market share hasn't dropped that dramatically compared to AMD's. I'm pretty sure they're still putting up a fight. But the reality is, you're going to get discounts on products you probably didn't want in the first place. And the only incentive for you to buy these products is on paper a cheaper price, when really, in reality, you wouldn't have bought that product in the first place. So a lot of times when it comes to Black Friday
Bandudu,
or Black Friday, as you should say it properly, you're buying things you don't actually want, and you're not really given the choice. You're given a selection of things that are on sale, quote unquote, and you're given them and you just end up buying them. Essentially, you're being dictated to by these companies fiscally. They're basically artificially taxing you if you buy what you want, and you shouldn't look at it as a sale. You should look at it as an event where they're pushing their agenda on you. And I know I'm sounding like a bit of a tinfoil hat kind of guy. It's not really like that. The reality is, you have to always be wary about how you part with your money. Money's not an easy thing to come by. And the last thing I want people to do is spend their money in places where they really shouldn't. Another thing that is really silly when it comes to Black Friday is this fear of missing out that people get. A lot of times the best products, let's say you have an actual good deal on Black Friday. Let's say, for example, you have an RTX 4090 for 30-40% off. You get it for $1,000, or I don't know how much it costs now, but you get it for $1,000, or in the UK price you get it for £1,500, whatever. You get it for a lot cheaper than you should, but there's only 5 of them. So then the amount of traffic the website gets, effectively, they're getting free advertising. They're subsidizing their advertising through this sale, quote unquote. So you end up having hundreds of people ending up on a website where they have no hope of buying this discounted GPU, and they're on this website, and then they just end up buying another product on the website, because effectively it was just one big marketing funnel. Another thing which doesn't really apply to the UK, but I think it more of an issue in the US and non-European countries with less security around purchases online, is sometimes you get fake sellers pop out of nowhere and they got Black Friday deals going, dodgy websites, and you end up clicking the link and you end up buying a product that isn't exactly what it should be. The problem is, because you bought it on a whim, your guard is lowered. You feel like you have to get this item right now. It's that FOMO again, and you end up buying something you shouldn't. And then that product turns out to be defective. What are you going to do when you can't really return it? Especially if you're in the US. I know their return policies are a bit more of a grey area in the United States. And finally, when it comes to Black Friday, just the stores and the rush and the commotion. A lot of times, if you go into a physical place to buy something, you're in a very inconvenient location. People are fighting for parking spaces. People are queuing up for hours at the till. You know, even if you're a minimum wage person, the amount of time you spend fighting with people over a 60-inch television, you might as well just call it a day and just spend an extra $50 or £50 and buy it another day in the year. Like, honestly, when it comes to Black Friday, you gotta be careful where you don't get sucked into this zombie mindset of I must consume, which itself is not a problem, but you have to be switched on. Whenever you spend money, you have to think like smart and defensively. And I know that's not a fun way to live, but unfortunately, with the modern data analytics and marketing that's out there, essentially, if you don't get switched on, you will be scammed, and that's just the way it works. You're either the predator or the prey, and if you're not smart and switched on, you will be the prey, and you'll end up spending money on things you really shouldn't. And finally, there are situations where Black Friday can be good, and those situations are only in the following. You wanted to buy this product for a long time, and you've done your research, and you know exactly what you want and how much it should cost, and you have a good understanding of the price history of that product. You know exactly what stores you're comfortable with spending your money on, like for example Amazon, or I'm guessing bigger places that in the UK we have overclockers, places that actually sell things that are reputable, and you were gonna buy it anyway. You weren't waiting, or you have the money, you have the cash, and you were gonna buy it anyway. Or even if you're buying it on credit, you're aware of the pitfalls of it and you're making a smart, calculated decision. Otherwise, you're wasting your time, mate. You shouldn't be spending money on Black Friday. Just stay switched on, and remember, you don't have to spend money. These companies don't care about you. They don't want you to have a good experience beyond an experience that ends up with you putting money in their pockets. Their goal is your loss, unfortunately. Peace.